All you need to do is the work. There's nothing you could read about. There's nothing to motivate you. All you need to do is the work. And this gets stuck in so many people's heads. Recently, we onboarded a COO, and the COO was underperforming, and a big thing behind that was like he had previous limiting beliefs and things that he needed to work on from his own mental state. Now, I got fed up with this, and I was like, bro, you either need to lock in, or we can't work together, right? Purely, blatantly simple. And he took this to heart, and I'm grateful for that. And he turned his life around. And a lot of people like to refer to their past as a reason why they can't succeed into the future. And a lot of people do this subconsciously. They don't even think about it. Your past traumas, your past experiences, anything that happened in the past, if you want to succeed into the future, cannot dictate your future. And this will go over so many people's heads. But you cannot let yourself do that. And you can't read about it. You can't, it can't be told. It can't be, you just got to do the work. And this doesn't get through so many people's heads. I don't know why. It happened to me as well. And everything is a skill set. Everything that you do on a day-to-day is something that you can change, and it's a skill that you can learn. Nobody's born with anything. Sure, you have previous traumas. Sure, you have previous experiences. Sure, some people do things better than you at this current moment, but it doesn't mean you can't overcome them. It doesn't mean that you can't, replace your previous traumas. Like, literally, at the end of the day, there's nothing I could tell you. Like, you're watching this video, maybe for some motivation. I don't know if it popped up on your feed or whatever, but there's nothing I can tell you except for just doing the work. There's only so many times your wife, the people you work with, your friends, there's only so many times that they can tell you to lock in and change the direction that you're heading in. I will say this time and time again. Like, I don't understand how some people in first world countries are surviving off $3K a month. Okay? Call me delusional, call me whatever you want to call me a dick, I don't care. But living off of such minimal resources is killing you. You can't help your family, you can't help yourself, you can't help your future family. Like, how are you living with that? And you're like, okay, yeah, I'm fine doing what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. Watching another one of these videos is not going to help you. Scrolling for another motivation post for some more value, some more stuff is not going to help you. You want to know what will actually turn your life around? It is so unsexy, but I'm going to say it anyways. It's just doing the work. There's no hack. There's nothing you could read about. There's nothing that I can tell you in this video except just do the work. I don't have like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 step thing to get you to do the work, because all you need to do is sit there in front of your computer for 8 hours, 14 hours a day and do the work to a certain extent, right? Obviously, over time you start to delegate, you start to grow. But if you're just getting started in the game, if you started working somewhere and it's your first day, first week, whatever, sit there and do the work. If you want to get paid more as either, you working for someone or you working for yourself, all you got to do is the work. I remember the first, proper corporate job I had. I'm going to say corporate, but it wasn't even a corporate job. It was a startup. And I proved to them that I deserved to be there. Now, I graduated high school early. It was, a semester earlier, just because, I did summer school. I did a finesse where I got, credits from private school. It was a whole scheme, but I graduated early and I had about a couple months ahead of everyone else. And I was like, I don't want to waste this time. So I went ahead and applied to a bunch of startups as an intern, and I said I'd even work for free. The reason why I wanted to do this was because I wanted to actually learn about business and how I could implement those skills into my day-to-day life. Anyways, fast forward, I do the interview process and I get a job. I'm like, yo, let's go. It's in person, it's in the city. And I show up. I start working. Day in and day out, I would show up earlier than everyone else. I would leave at 7 or 9 p.m. daily. Even though I lived an hour outside of the city, I did that. I did that every single day because I wanted to prove to everyone that I worked with, even though I was an intern, even though I was one of the least leveraged cogs in the system, I wanted to prove to everyone that I deserved to be there. And it wasn't some secret hack. It wasn't working smarter. It wasn't doing any of that. It was literally showing up day in and day out and just doing the work. Do you want to know what my job was for the majority of that, job experience at that startup? I was going from spreadsheet to LinkedIn profile, matching with the LinkedIn user, messaging them, and going to the next one. 13,000 people I went through. I did it day in and day out without complaints, and I finished it. Obviously I did more beyond that, but I was doing probably the least leveraged work. And even that, I was giving it my all. And there's no life hack I was given. There's no cutting corner thing that I did, right? Or that I was taught, or that could have been done. And I'm glad there wasn't anything given to me because I did that, it set a standard for everything I do moving forward. I do everything at 100%, meaning I record videos at 100%. I do my work at 100%. I take calls at 100%. Anyone I socialize with, I do 100%. I go to the gym and I hit it at 100%. There's no point in my life where I'm going half-assed. Because the second you do that is the second you give your life away to the devil. You are being a drifter if you are not giving everything that you do on a day-to-day basis your all. Man, I'm sitting here and recording this video, and I'm thinking when I first got into the game, if I saw a video like this, it would go over my head. And that's going to happen to a lot of people. And, you're going to go from business to business, from job to job, not understanding that there isn't a shortcut, not understanding that online business isn't easy, right? Online business is one of the hardest things that you can do. Obviously, it's not as hard as training to be a Navy SEAL or some shit, but it is one of the hardest things that you can do. And so many people get into it thinking, oh, this is the easiest thing I could do with my life. I mean, I see all these kids, all these 18, 16-year-olds getting Lamborghinis. I could do that too. I could do that in a month or two. But what ends up happening is people try it for a month or two and then they give up because they didn't get that instant results. But you don't go to the gym expecting to get six-pack abs when you're 300 pounds overweight, right? You understand that it's going to take time. You're going to have to lock your diet in. You're going to have to go to the gym daily. You have to do all these things. And it's like the habits that are built up over time and all the skill sets that are built up over time to get you to that point. If things were so easy, then everyone would be doing online business, right? You may have bought a program or something for dropshipping, e-commerce. Maybe you sell a program, who knows? But if you bought a program and for a specific business model and you went all in for 1 or 2 months and then didn't see results, well, then that's your fault. Because, bro, it literally takes 6 months, a year, multiple years to get to the point where you want to be. It's not an overnight thing to hit 10K per month, 20K, 30K, 50K, 100K per month. That is not something that happens instantly. And, bro, you got to reframe the way you think about going into this online money stuff. It doesn't happen instantly, and you need to just put in the work day in and day out. It is going to be one of the hardest things because everything up to date in your life has been easy. Believe it or not, things get way, 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 way harder. And you're sitting here in La La Land believing that it's going to take you, a couple months to get to where you want to be. And, you could drop out of school, quit your job, whatever it is that you want to do, whatever's pushing you to, start this online money stuff. It will be really, really, really hard. And if you can stick through that, then it will be worth it. If you can stick through the shit, I promise you, it becomes worthwhile. But you got to stick through it, and you just got to put your head down. There's no life hack. I can't sit here and tell you, just hire a bunch of VAs. You'll be good. You'll be golden. It doesn't work that way. You need to learn the experience. You need to get the experience. You need to learn the skills. You need to do everything that it takes to become the person that you want to be. It's not just handed to you, and that's the fun of the journey as well. I constantly ponder about how if I was to be given, $1 million a month at my current state, I would be so dissatisfied. I don't do it for the money. I do it for the growth. And it's a love for the game. Yeah, cool. Money's coming in, I could pay for my mom to go on vacation. I could do like I could get really cool gifts. I could do basically like I could fly first class, business, whatever I want. Obviously, I can't fly like private, not yet. Right? I'm gonna be making a lot more money, but like there is no shortcut. No shortcuts exist. You need to earn it, and once you earn it, you will be satisfied. The guy. Let's go back to the gym analogy. As a person working out, for example, let's go back to the gym analogy. As a person that's working out, the person who takes steroids to get their dream physique versus the person that spends years achieving their dream physique, properly sticking to a diet plan, constantly reiterating their workouts, leaning more into science-based lifting and like really, really ironing out everything, is going to appreciate their dream body a lot more than the guy that just took steroids and got their dream body in, a couple months, maybe after 2 cycles, right? Like you need to enjoy the game, and it's not going to be easy, and it will be one of the hardest things that you ever do. But as long as you stay there and do the work day in and day out, you will see yourself develop. Reflect on where you are, like, maybe in 2 months. Look back, right? Look back on all the development you've had up until this point. Because I promise you, if you truly give it your all and truly put your head down and just do the work without watching all these motivationary videos, you will get so much further ahead, right? You don't need to watch YouTube after YouTube video, reel after reel, because all that shit, it doesn't matter, bro. Just do the work. Like, put your head down and think logically what it is that you need to do, what is going to be the biggest needle mover to get you to where you want to be, income-wise, goal-wise, whatever it is, right? And just do it. Usually we kind of know exactly what we need to do, but it's hard to do because, we know, understanding our mind is a hard task, right? Humans are built to not want to do hard things. But as a man, if you push and do the hard things that push you forward and make you a better man, that's what truly, truly, truly transforms you into the person you want to be. If you want to be the man that brings in a bunch of money, a bunch of resources, a bunch of things for your family, your future wife, your future kids, then you need to develop. You need to kill your past self. You need to follow God. You need to do all these things. You need to, become a lot more fit. You need to do all these things to become that man. It's not going to be just given to you. And that's something a lot of people don't realize. There's a bunch of like 30, 40, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds that are man babies. Like, they didn't sit there and think, okay, why do I do what I do? How do I actually become the man I want to be? A lot of people don't do that. They just, unfortunately get a job and, do whatever it is that they do for the rest of their life. Whereas, like, if they just sat there, thought, and went like, okay, this is what I want. This is what it will take. I'm just going to do the work. I'm just going to sit there day in, day out. I don't care if it takes 6 months, if it takes a year, 2 years, 3 years. I will do what it takes. If there's one thing you could walk away from this video to implement in your life, it's just going to be do what it takes. Put your head down and just do the work.